All right, here's a quick video on some tools that small businesses can use right now. There's a lot of misconception about where the state of AI is. The general public is like 6 months behind on knowing like kind of where the leading tech is. And so these are some tools beyond LLMs that you can use today to do some research. So first one are the LLMs. So you have a bunch of different ones out there. The two I recommend looking at are Claude. Claude is really good at doing research and putting documents together. So pulling prospects, finding leads, finding out key stakeholders, all that information. In this thread right here, I basically just told it to do some deep research on Patterson Consulting Group. And then I told it I was doing a demo video, so just put whatever kind of executive packet together it wanted in PDF style. And then it gave me a packet of info that was basically formatted in this way. It's basically all the info that you could possibly ever want on a business or what they do. And the future is going to be in sales is going to be about the show me you know me type style. So really doing this deep research, knowing a company's problems and where they're at before you even reach out to them. So Claude is a really good one to do that. Then I told him to format the data well, and you can see he can even write it in PDF style. He's kind of writing in HTML style to where you could download this and use it as an asset. So it formats everything neatly, kind of makes different sections. I mean, you can see it is actually a very good dense document. We're going to use this document throughout this demo, but the next tool I want to show you is Gemini. So this is also an LLM, but it's better at content creation. So better for LinkedIn posts, better for like blog writing, email writing. And in this demo, I want to show you just some of the different images I can create. So just going in here into gemini.google.com, going over to Nano Banana, we can just select the tools here, select create images, and just tell it whatever kind of image you want. So in this case, I just wanted to make a stock image of the St. Louis skyline with no words on it, and this is what it produced for me. I asked it to be at night. It's pretty good. And then I said, now change it to, I just want an office setting, kind of a stock image that I can use on a blog post or whatnot. And it did create this stock image here. And again, what Nano Banana is really good at is adjusting this image. So if you see anything you don't like, you can tell it to make a small modification and it'll just mod that piece of the image. If you give it more detail on what you want, it'll create exactly that image for you in whatever style, photorealistic, cartoony, as Muppets, whatever you want. And then another demo I did here was I had it create two different objects. So I had it create this lizard mascot, this guitar, and I said, okay, now put these two together, and you can see it made that small adjustment. It's almost the same photo, but he's added the guitar here. And then the last piece I just said, hey, create a professional looking team photo where my team is at Forest Park and STL. This is just a generic photo here, but you can see it did a pretty good job. I mean, you can't tell if you're just scrolling quickly through Facebook or anywhere, you won't be able to tell that this is AI. So for blog use, any kind of content creation, any kind of touching up photos, so you could drop your own photo in here and add a guitar, and it would, again, not change the photo at all, except it would add the guitar. This is a really good tool for that. So this is Gemini. And you can see it's pretty photorealistic there. The next one is Perplexity. So Perplexity is like the Google search of these LLMs. On Perplexity, you can actually choose which LLM to use. So if you go over here to a new chat, I can select, let's see, Perplexity.ai. There we go. We have the little box pop up. We can select which model we want to use. We're in Gemini or Claude, or this is ChatGPT or Grok if that's your favorite. You can select what model, and you can do a couple different types of searches. And the kind of content that this will produce, it produces really good deep research. So like if we just go back to our data packet here, I dropped that data packet in, I told it to do some research on Patterson Consulting, and it just pulls the sources, very dense sources. You can click through here and find where it's pulling that information. And then once it's found that information, it can take me to the site, and I have this little pop-up on the side here that's my assistant, since I'm using Comet, which is Claude's browser. So it's built into, it's Perplexity's browser. So Perplexity is built into my browser now. So I have this right here. I can go to any website like Patterson Consulting, and I can say, tell me about this site. And he's going to look at this site here, and he's going to summarize it for me right on the side. I can say, who is the owner? Or I can say, find me the marketing contact at this site, at this company. And now he's going to go out to LinkedIn, pull from some different other sources in relation to this site, and try to pull some different marketing or contact information for me. So you can see how this would be very useful for, definitely for like lead generation or any kind of research. And once you have all this, so once you have the data packet from Perplexity, you've done some Google Gemini, you have some different assets from Google Gemini, you also got your research packet from Claude, you can go over to a tool like Notebook LM. And what Notebook LM does is he lets you take all those different sources. So right now I just put the Patterson Group PDF in here and turn that source into some different things like flashcards, quiz, you can do reports with it, you can get a video overview, or you can get a audio overview. And the audio overview will sound just like a podcast. We'll listen to it here if we can hear it.
We often think of HR strategy as being about compliance, maybe recruiting or handling conflict. But can a fundamental redesign of your internal job roles, that's pure HR strategy?
We'll jump ahead here a little bit. This is really good for content that you want to learn. So if you have a bunch of information, dense information, you can throw this into this tool. It'll create a podcast for you. You can throw that podcast in while you're working out or doing some other activity and actually absorb that information in audio form. So here's just the middle of the podcast.
For optimization, for positive impact. So this dual role background, it just ensures the people first mandate is inherently operational and strategic, not just, cultural window.
And you can see it sounds very good. There's multiple voices here. There's actually a mode where you can interact with the podcast. So you can type in questions and you're basically like a caller at that point. So then the podcast people will react to your question and the conversation will go off in that direction. You can also create video. So same thing with a video overview. This is that same document, put it in, and now we can just play this here.
Addressing.
That immediately gives the firm a really high-level strategic lens. Small Business Monthly Top Women in Business Award. So that blends the national thought leadership with...
I'm sorry, that's still the podcast there, but again, it has some different assets. So this is just a deck that it created from that information. You can see it puts very good detail into it. The future of content is basically content's going to free to generate. It's going to have a bunch of sources, and AI is going to be able to put together very nice looking packets of information. The next thing I want to talk about is like a new tool. So this is like note taking. So if you have any kind of AI note taking, I highly recommend Granola. Granola is one you can install on your computer or you can install it on your phone, and then you can ask questions of the transcript afterwards. So it just lets you concentrate more on the conversation you're having with somebody and then pull all the to-dos and all that stuff out later. So you can see here, I can just drag, this is what my Granola looks like from our meeting, and you can list my to-dos here, kind of like I did there, and it will actually pull out the to-dos, but it has the full transcript in here, so any question you ask it, it's using that transcript as a source, just like you'd have it in an LLM, and it's pulling from that transcript and writing up all that information. So that's another really good one. Granola is one that I highly recommend, but the big boy of all of these is Lovable. So Lovable is an app creation platform. So all you do is you prompt in here and it'll create full websites or full applications to show your data. So just an example one, this was like some sample data from a client, and all I did was drop in the sample data into here. I told it to format that data. It was a spreadsheet of data. I said, hey, format this data and let me view it in sort of a nice way, and it created this site for me. So put together this website in a one-shot prompt. I have a little export CSV button. You can see I can pull the data up again. There we go. And this is the data it's looking at. And you can see that spreadsheets or apps are the new spreadsheets. So in the future, we're not going to have spreadsheets. These things are going to be throwaway. These apps, you're basically just going to view your data even one time through a custom app. Very cheap. It'd be pennies to make these eventually. But you can really throw any data in here. So you think like full decks. So this is another sample from Lovable that I created for my site. You can see it has a little sidebar. People can click through this. You can create these in any way you want. I wanted to make this look different than a website. It's sort of like an asset, like a lead gen asset you can download here on my site. But it literally takes the user through like what an LLM is, or what like the same kind of training, again, for small businesses. But you can see it's all interactive. So all these little things here have like pop-ups. You can flip stuff over. And again, it created this in just a few hours with me talking to it back and forth. I really didn't have to do anything besides provide it the data and kind of describe to it what I want. So you can see in the future, people are going to be the architects. There's going to be architects and masons, essentially. The masons are the AI. They're going to go out and actually build the things. You have to now be able to articulate what it is you want, and the AI are going to go off and use your computer to create that. So you're going to be talking to your computer and basically giving it instructions in the morning, and it's going to go off and do its work. It's going to pull your leads. It's going to put together apps like this for you that will have all your leads in it, filtered out with the work that it did, maybe a custom like tracking app for the work that it got done. And it will report to you daily. And the people who have the most number of these sort of workflows automated are going to be the winners. So the last one that I want to talk about too is 11 Labs. So 11 Labs has been around for about 5 years now, and they're really good at speech to text and creating any kind of speech stuff. So if you have, and you can add these, like, see, it will even add in, here, we'll play this here.
In the ancient land of Eldoria, where skies shimmered and forests whispered secrets to the wind, lived a dragon named Zephyros. Not the burn it all down kind, but he was gentle, wise, with eyes like old stars. Even the birds fell silent when he passed.
So you can see there's even like these voice actions you can give it. And it has hundreds of different voices. You can even record your own voice and basically say anything you want. It'll sound just like you. Add pacing in here. So you can think the future of content creation is going to be very, very cheap. And you can even use these in like outreach calls and stuff like that. You won't know if you're talking to an AI or not. But that's just a quick demo. I don't want to take up a bunch of time here. I just wanted to show you some of the tools that are in the market and show you just some capabilities of what we can do and solutions that we have. My biggest advantage, I think, is just being on the leading edge of all these AI tools and just knowing sort of what the future is going to bring. I mean, I guarantee within the next year or so, we're not going to be typing into computers anymore. We'll simply be talking to computers and they'll be doing what we want. So just knowing that kind of information, knowing that these tools exist and helping people implement these tools is what I do. So yeah, let me know if you found any of this, helpful, and let me know if I can help you in any other way.